People don't really understand how hard it can be to stay positive or to stay on your journey sometimes. So, in today's video, we are going to share a chapter in my life, and we're going to talk about the choices that I made to bring me to this point where I can comfortably speak on this topic of staying positive or finding your purpose. My journey from school, after I completed school, that it was university, and I was launched into the field, started working, I found it really hard to get stable. For my first company, I worked for them for more than 2 years, but I can tell you that it was a struggle every single day of those 2 years. You know, working in a place, because this was my first job, it was something that I had aspired to work into. I am actually really grateful to God for that, because not everyone lands a job that they are actually interested in. I landed a job I was interested in, and I thought I would enjoy it, but I did not, because nothing had prepared me properly for the field. I struggled, first of all, with waking up to go to work, and I would read all these or motivation speeches, watch motivation speeches, which were telling you that you should find something you are passionate about. This was me working in something that I'm really passionate about, but I hated it every single day. I didn't hate the work itself. I just hated waking up from bed because it wasn't something I was used to. At university, yes, I was into medical school, and we would wake up because medical school is hard and it is perceived to be hard, but I'm not the kind of person who struggles with school. So I didn't go every day. When I didn't want to go, I didn't. I would read and make up for the missed lessons. So I didn't really struggle to wake up or put myself under so much pressure to go to school. I had so many other aspects of my life to attend to. I remember I used to go out every single Thursday. I was out with my friends. So Fridays were a no go to school. If I ever went to school on Fridays, it was usually later in the evening. Because when you go out, you come back home at around 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. sometimes. So you sleep from 6 a.m., you're probably going to wake up at around midday or 1 p.m. So I rarely went to school on Friday. So you can imagine now you're into the field, you have a full-time job, you have bosses that you are accountable to. Waking up every single day was hard, was a must, but really hard. So for 2 years, I struggled. I had so many excuses to take days off. Today it was, I'm sick. Tomorrow someone died. Always with excuses because I didn't want to wake up. The moment my alarm went off and I realized, oh my God, I really don't want to go today, I would quickly make up excuses. So soon I ran out. But I persevered for 2 years. And the reason I persevered for 2 years was because I had this whole concept of how life is supposed to be. After you finish school, you go to work and you work for this company. You rise in ranks from an entry position to a supervisor, to a manager, to an exec. So that's what I had in mind. And that's why for 2 years, I stayed with this company. After 2 years, I gave up. I remember one day I woke up and decided not to go to work. And this time I didn't make up excuses. I just told them, you know what? I'm done. I'm not coming into work. I am done. I quit. And by this time I was close enough with my bosses, not really too close, but like a good relationship with a boss that I could tell them the truth. I told them, like, I've been struggling for so long. I can't do this anymore. Yes, I know I'm going to have some hardships. Actually, my boss tried to counsel me and explain to me that I just have to get over myself and give it a go. But no, I was really tired. I quit. And then there was a gap in that space. Like, I went to my home village. I was there for quite some time and then realized that I'm too broke. Rent is due in the city because I was living in the city and my home village is far away from the city. I realized, okay, I need to find another job. And I did find another job. But remember, I have not addressed these issues. I am still the same person who hates the alarm ringing every single morning. The other disadvantage that I realized was making it even harder for me is the traffic jam in Kampala. There is a lot of traffic in Kampala, the kind of traffic that you'll be stuck into for 2 hours. So if you're planning to go to work, that means you're budgeting 2 hours in traffic. These are 2 hours you can't subtract from your working time. If your working time is 8 hours every single day, those are 2 hours that you're going to add on the 8 hours. We would be stuck in traffic. You would have to wake up like at least 3 hours before the start of work so that you're able to make it to work on time. So that was also another stress. And then going back home, the same thing with traffic. So you're also reaching back home much later. So if you are adding a total of 4 hours on top of your working time every single day, it just adds up. You find by the time you reach home, you're so tired and you're just going to bed. Okay, so now I have another job and we still have the same problems. But this time I decided to move to eliminate even the small distance I had between being to the city center. So I lived really close to the city, like a short distance. This kind of helped, but I was still struggling. For some reason, I was still struggling with getting up to work. I guess this whole attitude had built up in me. So while I'm on this job, I didn't stay with them for so long. I decided to come to Dubai. It was a very quick decision. I just came on a limb and I came to the United Arab Emirates. Remember, I have not even figured out my life in Uganda, place I was born, in Kampala city, a place where I know every twist and turn of the city. I have not figured out my work and life balance, but now I have leaped into another city, and the culture shock when you're coming from Africa is undeniable. Dubai is a very big city, skyscrapers. I mean, I'm literally on the 40th floor right now, and my view is very far and wide. So the culture shock, plus the fact that I haven't really found a work and life balance, did not help at all. So I reached Dubai. Also, there are so many struggles of finding employment in Dubai, especially finding something that you are actually interested in. Sometimes because you're in a far land, you have to settle for anything to be able to feed, to be able to survive. The story of my life and my experiences in Dubai is too long. We are not going to talk about everything else that I've been through. I'm talking being homeless, being hungry, being tossed and turned around by all the city endeavors. We are only going to focus on the employment bit of it. My first job in the United Arab Emirates was working in a gym. So I was a gym membership consultant, and it was tricky because, as you can tell, I'm new to this country, and most of the people who are potential customers to this gym are mostly Asian. So it was very hard to try and integrate myself and my capabilities into this workspace. So I struggled a little bit, especially with racism. And at some point, I had to stay behind a computer because I was doing content creation for the gym, also doing their social media. And we used to do so many calls, and sometimes we used to go out like in the malls and set up like a small kiosk and talk to people. So things that involved interacting with people was such a bummer for me. It was very hard. It was so discouraging. It would put all my spirits down of ever making it, especially in this far land. So I decided to stay behind a computer. And when I made that decision, I had some little bit of success, but this job was 12 hours because we all know Dubai working time is crazy. Remember, I left Uganda where I was working 8 hours and I had 4 hours of traffic, and this amounted up to 12 hours every single day. But now I am working in a job where the work itself is 12 hours, and I wasn't living literally at work. So there was also some time that I had to spend on the commute to and from work. As you guessed it, my struggles have amplified. And what made it even more worse is the fact that you're in a foreign land. You have to survive. You have to make it stick. You have to power through because this is a foreign land. There is no one who is going to help you. You have to figure it out. So I really struggled in my first job. There were also so many other work-related issues. Like my employer took too long to give me a residence visa So I was doing visa change every other 3 months. And that was also an aspect that I did not enjoy. The uncertainty, the non-stability is something that I really struggled with. I know these stories are becoming a bit too much, but I want you to understand how much I have struggled. This is not an issue that I had for 1 week, and after that week, I fixed myself, and I'm here to give you a success story of, okay, I struggled for 1 week and now here we are. No, this was an issue I struggled with for a very long time. So obviously, as you can already guess, I decided, you know what, this gym thing is not working out. I actually left mainly because I gave them an ultimatum that they had to make for me the employment visa or else. And all else came to pass, so I had to leave. I left at the moment when I didn't have any other job. And as you know, I do content, I create content. So I relied on that for quite some time. Yes, I was making some small bit of money, but it wasn't inspiring. It wasn't something you can say, okay, let me keep all my eggs in this basket and call it a life. I needed to find other opportunities to be able to feel comfortable. The one thing I know about myself in all this, and even amidst all these struggles, and why I keep looking for something else, something better, I want stability, which I believe is what everyone wants. You want to find a company that you are comfortable with so that you grow your career, you rise in ranks, and it becomes your story, becomes your journey, and it becomes very simple. You say, I worked as a marketer. I worked in marketing for company ABCD, and I started as a junior associate and I'm now a CEO. You understand, that's what everyone wants. I still hadn't got it up to this time. And the years are really passing after school and the CV is building up. Remember, sometimes when you apply for jobs, your CV is telling a story. This girl worked for this company and then left and went to this company and then left, and you look to be unstable. You understand? So this is becoming my story and I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to find this one place where I can land and, put my roots down. It's not happening. So I'm freelancing. Freelancing is great. You can make money while freelancing. So I was looking out for opportunities where I can actually make some reasonable money. And I got really lucky. And I say really lucky because I made the kind of money that I haven't been able to replicate. I got really lucky, and this is a part of my story that I sometimes get scared to talk about. That was 2014. 2013 and into 2014. There were so many scam companies that were happening in Dubai, in UAE, not just Dubai. And as a content creator, I got connected to people who wanted to get information about this. They're like, okay, you create content about Africans in Dubai, you create content about your experience in Dubai, being homeless in Dubai, working in Dubai. Do you have any information about coming centers in the UAE? I actually did have information. I was like, yeah, I have some information. I know that it is something that is very common and so casual because it's happening very openly to my eyes by the mere fact that I already knew about it. And so many people did know about it. And some people were going to work in these coming centers. It looked as if it was legal. Like organized crime. I don't know if you can call it that. But let me explain for someone who might not get the context. There were companies which would open up big offices in these very high-rising buildings in the UAE. And sometimes they would take over a full building. Actually, not sometimes. They would take over like a full building or a full array of buildings and have several offices and several accommodation spaces where they would literally employ people from Asia, from Africa. Most of these coming centers were owned by Chinese. So they would employ people from Asia and from Africa to come and work for them. So I was well aware of this, and so many people would be recruiting people to go and work in these coming centers. So that's how I got to know the information. So I'm still calling this luck because these people could have contacted anyone, but by mere chance they contacted me. So I told them, okay, yeah. So they asked me, what kind of information can you give us? It became a whole conversation. I gave them what I knew and what I would potentially give them more. It was for me to go like undercover, go work in these scamming centers to really get more information, to understand how it works. So during that time, I was hopping from office to office because there were so many. There was, do I remember the places? I was in Ras Al Khaimah, in Ajman, so many in Dubai, DIP, Dubai. There are so many other places in Dubai South, and I went to all these places. So I was hopping from office to office and trying to stay settled because obviously in these coming centers, people are not allowed to use their phones. So if you're trying to record a video, imagine how risky it is, and especially with Chinese. So I was trying to stay subtle. I would stay in this place for like a week, for 2 weeks, and then go to another office. But needless to say is that the people who are working on this video or on this investigation for a video, it was for content. That video went viral actually. They paid me some reasonable amount of money and call it luck. So for some time, I survived doing gigs online here and there until last year, 2014, when I decided, you know what? I think let me go back to Africa. I went back home. I had started up some projects. My projects are still ongoing and very successfully, I would say, because I don't have so much expectations from them. Like there's no so much pressure. But I would say that they've been going on successfully. So I went back to Africa and I was there for quite some time. I tried to get jobs. The jobs I was getting, they were entry level. The amount of money is very small. The pressure is still there. And I know what you're thinking. So many other people are enduring this kind of pressure and building their careers in these companies. Why can't I be able to do that if I really say that I want to build a career and all that? Let's not forget that we are human and sometimes we just have to accept that we are. I'm the kind of person who struggles to wake up. I could go 3 days without sleeping, but when it comes to waking up in the morning, that is a struggle. So sometimes I don't need like 2 hours in traffic, and in Uganda I cannot escape traffic. When I went back, I tried to work and I still struggled. So I was home for like 4 months. I decided, you know what? I know here is tough, but I have had my best luck in Dubai. So let me go back to Dubai, even though I don't have a job lined up for me. I had reached out to so many companies and tried to get opportunities. And some of them were saying, you know what? If you are in Dubai, maybe we could talk. You know, if you're in Dubai, come, let's talk. I decided, let me come back to Dubai. I came back to Dubai and, started working. And I'm saying this, that being able to figure out being able to figure out your footing in this career journey. I just recently figured it out. Part of my struggle was the fact that I love to create content and I needed a job, or I needed opportunities that allowed me to be able to do that, to have some time off and create my content and be my authentic self. Because sometimes you might be working in a place where you can't even tell stories about your work. Can you imagine? You cannot tell anyone, especially not online, about the kind of work that you do. And I feel like it is sometimes very important for me to do the things I love outside of work, which I most definitely should be able to love too. So how I found my footing was deciding to be very intentional about the opportunities that I seek out. And I also know that sometimes people don't really have a choice. Like I said, sometimes all you need to is to survive. Sometimes you just need to, you can work as a cleaner. I have done that before for a few days. That's a story for another day. And sometimes you just need to survive. But as you survive, if you're the kind of person that is watching me right now, as you are surviving, don't take your eyes off your goal. Which goal is to be able to find a stability, is to be able to wake up excited about work, to be able to wake up excited about what you are about to achieve. Because every single day we achieve some things. It doesn't matter if you're doing the easiest job ever. Every single day you wake up and step out, there is some level of achievement. So being excited to do that. Guess what? I don't use alarms anymore. I don't. And this is really crazy. Because I remember sometime in high school, when in high school they used to ring those bells and they were really loud enough. In fact, where they rang the bell from was so close to my dormitory. But they would ring the bell and I wouldn't hear it. That's how sleepy this girl is. So now imagine, alarms were so hard. I used to set up like 5 alarms back to back because I know I may not hear the first one or the second one or the third one. Maybe by the 4th one I'll hear it. But now I don't use any alarms because I decided I'm going to seek out opportunities that align with me. If a job is more than 8 hours in Dubai, no, it's not for me. I would rather go struggle. Like if this is going to be a permanent job for me, yes, sometimes I have to take up this job and struggle for a little bit as I look for my next plan, but I always make sure that it is going to align with the past kind of person that I am. So when every day I don't set an alarm, I just sleep when I'm tired, and when it's time to wake up, I do wake up because my body is by this time so used. And it's not like every single day I have to wake up at the same exact time, because sometimes I have to start work early. If I have a meeting, sometimes I have to start work late. But I'll still be like, okay, I'm going to wake up at 11 and I'll wake up. I'm going to wake up at 12 and I'll wake up. And no, it's not like I'm sleeping more than how many hours. In fact, sometimes I only sleep like 4 hours. This is an amazing thing, an amazing achievement for me. So if you are struggling with finding your foot, whatever you are doing, just do not put your eyes off the kind of person that you are.